again. It's Chrissy Hodges. I'm a mental health advocate, especially when it comes to OCD. And if you watched my latest video yesterday, it would be the pure O type of OCD with sexual, violent, blasphemous obsessions, things where mental rituals happen. But thank you for all the positive feedback. I loved hearing from y'all. And selfishly, it's because I felt less alone. So yay! Yay us! Anyway, tonight I want to talk about a fear that is huge, which is, what if I really don't have OCD and I really just am crazy? This is so common amongst people, and I think that this is one thing that may keep us really silent because it keeps that cycle going of, well, what if, this is what I used to think. I used to think, they're really just diagnosing me with OCD because as an excuse, and they really don't want to tell me that I really am nuts. This is so common, and I just want you to know that. And probably one of the reasons why is because we're going into therapy. Usually if you get therapy for OCD, it's going to be cognitive behavioral therapy, exposure response prevention. You're going into this therapy and you are thinking to yourself, I really just want the therapist to tell me that these obsessions aren't real. And they're not going to tell you that because they can't. That's the whole thing. That would be feeding into it. So then the whole fear comes up that you're like, well, if the therapist isn't telling me that, then that must mean that it's real. And then it turns into the secondary fear. So that secondary fear, I'm going to tell you, it was almost as bad as the symptoms that I had with OCD. It kept me paralyzed. It kept me terrified. And like I said last night, it would always make me think, well, it's still here and it's been 10 years. So that must mean that there's some truth to it. So the thing is, and the reason why, what I try to keep in my mind is that, when you think about someone who is out of touch with what's going on in their mind, typically that's not going to be what happens when people have OCD. One of the defining characteristics of having OCD is that we have this insight in our head that is, this is ridiculous, but I can't stop thinking about it. Okay, so I like to call it the washer syndrome, which is I am in the spin cycle when I'm dealing with OCD over and over and over. And every once in a while, I'll come up for air and I'm like, why am I worried about this? I know that this isn't real. I know that this isn't true, but I can't stop thinking about it. And the spin cycle pulls me right back into that cycle. And that little piece is a huge piece to the puzzle of insight. So people who have OCD, that what you're worried about doesn't make sense, and you worry that this doesn't align with my character, this doesn't align with who I am as an individual, or my tenets, or the way I believe, or my morals or ethics. However, that's not how OCD works, because in your head, it is sitting there spinning you going, well, if you didn't have, if it wasn't true, then you really wouldn't think about it. But it's actually the opposite. You have insight that this isn't who you are. However, you can't stop it. So one of the things that I wanted to express tonight is, you may think, well, I should be smart enough to think then that it's OCD and that I'm not just going crazy. Well, I'm sorry. You have a mental illness. I'm just going to put it out there. You do. You have a mental illness. So if you had a broken bone in your leg and your whole leg is throbbing, right? And you're like dragging it along and in pain and everything else, you wouldn't say, I'm so stupid because I can't outthink this pain, would you? You can't outthink OCD unless you're trained. And I don't mean like outthink it like I'm smarter than you, OCD, so I'm going to get you. I mean like you can learn strategies to deal with OCD. You can learn techniques to be able to cope and to be able to deal when you're in a relapse. However, you cannot outthink it. It has nothing to do with your intellect. It has nothing to do with how strong you are or how smart you are or anything. And it has nothing to do with whether you're losing your mind, even though it feels like it. And I want to stress again, the reason why it feels like it is because it's not who you are. So this is how I learned to recognize when OCD was really happening. Because I would think to myself, this doesn't seem like something I would worry about. This doesn't seem like something that has to do with me, that aligns with who I am morally and ethically. It doesn't seem like that. However, it stuck. But right there, that was the piece of the insight that I knew, okay, that's because it's OCD, this part of my brain that is sick, and not Chrissy. Not my character, not who I am as an individual that is creating these thoughts or manifesting this or needing to worry that this is who I'm going to turn out to be. So yes, you have a mental illness, OCD, and that doesn't make you less than, it doesn't make you weak, and I'm right there with you. So if you think it does, then you're saying it to me too. So that would be bad for me. So I just want to leave you tonight with this. It's a very, very common secondary fear for you to worry that you actually don't have OCD. But the way that when I'm talking with people that have OCD, I'm like, do you really think that people who have these actual obsessions worry whether or not they're real? Probably not. Now I'm going to tell you, I just gave you reassurance, and I don't do that often. So I hope you enjoyed it. And just so you know, if you're crazy, I'm crazy, and we're all crazy together. But OCD can be treated. There is effective treatment, and you can manage it, and you can live a successful life. Please go to International OCD Foundation.org, IOCDF.org. And if you need therapists, please please go to their website. They will be able to direct you to a therapist in your area. And thank you again for tuning in. And this was a short one. I look forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow will be my last little video, and who knows what's in store. I have a feeling I know, but thank you for tuning in, and thank you for commenting and giving me all your feedback, because I'm going to tell you, it makes me feel a lot better about sometimes worrying that I'm crazy with OCD, but we're not. We just have a brain disorder, and that's it. We are people that matter. We have people that love us, and we have lives that we can live successfully. Have a wonderful evening, and I'm so excited to see you tomorrow for the wrap up of the OCD Awareness Week. Bye.